One of the world's most volatile areas erupts into violence in what's now considered the bloodiest single day of fighting in the Gaza Strip in decades. Good evening, I'm Diane Dwyer. More than 200 people are dead tonight in Gaza after Israel staged a massive airstrike. Hundreds more are wounded. The offensive comes just a week after a 6-month truce expired between Israel and Hamas. Israel says the strikes are in retaliation for rocket attacks by Hamas, the militant group that controls Gaza. Palestinians are calling it a massacre. It's still unclear just how many of the victims are militants and how many are innocent civilians. Israel's defense minister had resisted calls to attack Gaza, but today he said, quote, "There's a time for calm and a time to fight. This is the time to fight," unquote. The Bush administration left no question that it is standing behind Israel.
Hamas must stop launching rockets into Israel. The United States holds Hamas responsible for breaking the ceasefire.
President-elect Barack Obama is also receiving intelligence reports, but he has not offered any public comment. Many Palestinian and Jewish Americans here in the Bay Area are also keeping a close watch on what's going on in the Middle East. NBC Bay Area's Kimberly Terry is here now with more on their reaction. Kimberly?
Diane, for the past 16 years, a group of Palestinian and Jewish Americans have been meeting once a month in San Mateo to discuss issues including what's happening in Gaza. At times it gets heated, but those involved say it's taught them a lot about the value of communication. Today, a couple members weigh in on what's happened in the last 24 hours.
There's so many things we do not know about each other.
Elias Botto and Libby Traubman are neighbors in San Mateo. They come from two very different backgrounds. Botto is Palestinian, Traubmans are Jewish. While they don't agree on everything, they do believe in one thing. What's happening in the Middle East is a result of 60 years of communication failure.
The reality is that almost no Jews and almost no Palestinians here in North America or back home have ever met, even in the state of Israel.
The Traubmans and Botto are part of a much larger group who meet monthly to discuss their very different views, hoping to find common ground and model what life can look like if the lines of communication are open.
If we treat each other humanly and understand each other on a human level, a lot of the problem that the whole world is involved in will be solved, I think.
Both parties say they weren't surprised by the resurgence of violence in Gaza, but say it's always awful to watch, even from thousands of miles away.
When one person is targeted, 2 more innocent civilians die. It's a tragic failure of humanity.
And both sides know the violence will likely not subside anytime soon, now that Hamas, a Palestinian militant group, is vowing revenge.
We need to talk to them. We don't need to surrender to their demands, but we need to know where they come from. And so we know how to handle the situation.
The Jewish-Palestinian Living Room Dialogue, which is a group the Traubmans and Botto belong to, meet every second Monday of the month. They say they expect there will be a lot to talk about at the next gathering. Kimberly Terry, NBC Bay Area News.